Hey there, thanks for joining me today. My name is Ashley and I'm the Homestead Herbalist. Just wanted to preface this video. So today we are going to be harvesting, drying, and storing our herbs. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here we are out in one of my garden beds. You guys are going to have to give me a little bit of slack here. I know these garden beds look like a teetotal mess. It's been a crazy year. We moved in right at the start of the season and had to hustle to get everything planted, and then just life. But regardless, we're closing things up for the year, so it is time to trim these guys back. So you can see here, I'm just cutting them down closer to the soil and then leaving all those leaves. And basically, that's a natural mulch that will keep everything safe for the winter. So first we had our rosemary, and now here we are with the thyme, which is a little harder to get a hold of, but really you just want to snip it down as close as you can towards that ground cover. And we'll go ahead and harvest all of this. As you can see here, I had to get some of that extra twigs and stuff out of there and have a little bit to work with, so that we can dry this. Okay, it's looking pretty good. And there we are. Next up is our burdock root. This guy has huge leaves, and they just spread out like that. Don't worry about the fact that one of those leaves looks like it's not in perfect condition. What we're doing here is getting that root, so not so much concerned about the condition of the leaves. Those roots are going to be just fine. So make sure that you're very careful, because you can snap those roots easily and then you won't get nearly as much. And here's our example of doing that. Now here's our valerian. Very beautiful. It also flowers, but that's not going on this time of the year. This is fall. So what we're going to do is kind of gather that up. We're trying to see how many plants we actually have there, which there's actually 2 that have grown outside of the pot. So we're going to go ahead and harvest those now. These are a lot easier to dig up than the burdock root. And they're very different looking once you get them out of here. The burdock root was very thick, and it was like one singular root. Now, check out this valerian. When I pull it up, it's a very complex structure of roots. And once you get it all cleaned off, you'll be ready to get these guys scrubbed under some water. Now, I used a blaster on my faucet and just kind of blasted these guys off, and that's what you see here. But definitely scrub if you need to. Get all that dirt off. And then you want to break them up, dry them. This is going to take probably a week or so. Set them out in a single layer and flip them probably every day until they're crunchy. Now, here we have our herbs freshly harvested, not the roots. These are the ones that we're going to hang. We have them in our bunches. Now, we need to take some twine, string, whatever you have on hand, and just wrap it around right there at the butt, which is the part that would be the closest to the ground when you cut it, okay? So we're going to wrap it around, tie it decently. You don't want to tie your bundle so tight that your herbs can't get the air that they need to circulate to dry them properly and completely. Also, if you have a lot of one herb, definitely break it up into multiple bundles. You don't have to keep them all in one singular bundle. I actually ended up doing that with my rosemary, I had a couple of the branches that were really full with lots of leaves and some that weren't. So definitely split those up if you need to. So then once you get them done, hang them. The higher, the better. Heat goes up. Also, then they're out of your way. You don't have to worry about people, dogs, whatever. And they look really pretty too. Okay, so we harvested our herbs. We dried our herbs. Now let's store them. So we have here our valerian root here in the bottom left, our thyme, our burdock root, the spearmint, and rosemary. And you see here above me, we do have rosemary still hanging. And this is a little bit thicker, so it still needs a little more time. These guys have had a week, but I'll probably let that one go for another week maybe, and then we'll get it packaged. Okay, so this is already ready to go in our jar. I have a jar on hand, and you can see we're already where we need to be. I'm going to store this separately though, because I bought this one, but I crafted this one in the wild of my front yard. So these guys are the ones we're going to focus on here right now. We need to get them off of the stems so that we can store them. Okay, so this will certainly work by hand to take the herbs off, but an herb stripper will definitely help. And you can literally make these. The one I'm using there is one that my husband made me. He's very crafty in that way. And hopefully we'll be selling those guys at the market next summer if we can nail down a design. But you do not need an herb stripper to be able to do this, okay? Your hands will work just fine. Okay, so before we go any further, you want to make sure that everything is totally dry. So the way that we're going to tell is the crunch. It should snap. If it's a root, it should snap. If it's herbs, you should be able to hear it. Also, if it's hard to get off the stem, then it's probably still got some moisture in it. Any moisture is going to be detrimental to your herbs. You will get mold and you'll have to throw everything away. So we don't want to do that. Okay, so I've already got my labels made up here. So let's just go ahead and put everything where it goes and we will get started. Okay, so first up we've got our valerian root. I'm just going to pick this up and put it in here just like it is. Now, valerian root is stinky. It doesn't have an odor, even kind of smells good when you first harvest it, but boy, does it start to smell as it dries. But that is totally normal. It's part of valerian. Now we've got our label filled out with the date that I harvested it, the name, as well as the botanical name. And then I have that I harvested it in my front yard. Okay. I'm just going to break these up a little bit here. I'm not going to break these up super small right now, but before I go to use them, I will chop them up. That way you'll have more access to all the good medicinal properties. Be easier to extract with more surface area. Same thing, we've got our date, our common name, botanical name, and where we got it. Now, the standing rule on this for how long we can keep them is roughly a year for dried herbs. So definitely keep that in mind. But always use your senses to determine whether an herb is still potent. I mean, you can look at the color. What's the smell like? You can even do a little taste test. If it passes, you're good to go. Now, if you have a canning system going on in your home, you probably have something like this that will help you fill the jar. And I'll show you on this next one. Just FYI, it's a lot easier to do all of this if your herbs are stripped into a bowl and then transferred into the jars. But I was trying to look cool and fun with my cutting board, but just for future reference. All right, now we have our finished product stored and ready for use. But do not forget to account for it in your inventory so you know what you have on hand. In one quick glance,